Welcome back, family. Before the video starts, I just want to thank all my channel members for the support. It says they got Britney Spears a long time ago. Oh my goodness.
Check this out, guys. No way, I can't believe what I'm seeing right now. Who's that right there?
What the hell? Who, Britney Spears?
Who is that right there in the crowd if Britney Spears is on stage, bro? I must be bugging. Let me slow it down. Watch this, guys. I know I'm not bugging. Maybe I am. Who's that right here? Who's this? I don't know who this is right here, but it looks like Britney Spears. But how can Britney Spears be in the crowd if she was on stage? Shut up! Mind you guys, that was in the year 2000. The year 2000. It is now 2026. So what you mean to tell me is that they've been doing this 26 years ago? This is what people are saying, guys. Let's not forget that. I didn't make any of this stuff up. People are saying this. I mean, who could confirm this, right? Who could confirm this? Alicia Keys could. She knew. She was there since way back. Maybe we gotta ask her about this. Remember, guys, they said that some of these people were made in Dexter's laboratory. This is what people are saying. I don't believe that. That's full of crap. These are real people, bro. I mean, she sure looks real to me. But this Britney? I don't know who this is. HW plays no games, and everybody is involved. Who's involved? Nobody, because this video is for entertainment purposes only, guys. Are you kidding me? That was a lady in the crowd that looked like her. Maybe they photoshopped it. Maybe it was AI since way back. Who knows? I don't know, guys. Let me know what you think. Do your research. HW has had enough of me. This is what they told me. I gotta go.
I'm not saying anything strange or demonic or evil is happening with major celebrities, but after you watch this video, you may wonder what the common theme is here. Zach Brown Band, remember the latest video with him? That was freaking shocking, dude. I'm talking demonic stuff. Katy Perry, look at her at the top. And there she is. I mean, they all seemingly do this. And maybe the going theory, Migos too, wow. The going theory is that they had to make a deal to get that famous when they were at the top. And part of that deal is doing this once you're famous. Like, you gotta do it. And someone once said, it's kind of like, look, Little Yachty. You know what they say? It's, you get to a point in your career where if you don't join the club, you say goodbye to the fame and fortune that you were dreaming of. And that's the only way to get there. Oh, gosh. Don't even get me started on The Weeknd, dude. The Weeknd, in the background of one of his performances in the Netherlands, it literally said Satan on the board for one split second. Someone paused it. So you gotta wonder, dude, are these rituals, are these, I mean, what do you even think about it? Oh yeah, Megan Fox, of course. Tyler, the Creator, he was into some pretty dark stuff as well. Kesha, oh yeah, Pentagram, no big deal there. Mr. Beast, oh yeah, no shit, when he did that on the, with Rockefeller there. The Devil Horns. Rihanna, we all know this. Where's Beyonce on here? Lil Wayne, oh damn, he did go satanic too. Sam Smith, holy crappers. Talk about a glow up, man. Taylor Swift, we know she went down the rabbit hole as well. Of course, Beyonce. I knew she'd be on there. Where's Jay-Z? He should be on here too. We know he's up to, you know, something. I don't know that I miss any of them. I'm just like, it's clear that something's going on with them. You don't want to worship celebrities, by the way. It actually is a form of, it's indicative of lower IQ, people who worship celebrities and whatnot. So what's this, man? I mean, we're talking holographic. None of this is love and light. None of this is love, light, happiness, prosperity, organicness. It's clear to be negative. It's clearly negative intent. Let me know your thoughts below and follow for more.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You definitely don't want to worship celebrities, but it doesn't hurt to, like, you know what I'm saying, like their music. But I feel like people that overhype them and like worship them and look like they're gods, those are the people that are kind of like, dude, this is just a normal human. Aliens really out here using thingamabobs.
I wish we weren't getting stuff declassified about aliens, because why are they flying around in some bullshit? This thing was apparently spotted flying over Mexico. Bro, what the fuck is this thing? Like, I know a lot of people think Nikola Tesla was an alien, but shit, Dr. Seuss might have been too. First of all, cover-up's not working. You can release anything you want about aliens. We're not gonna stop talking about the file. But two, if you're trying to distract people, don't distract them with a goddamn thingamabob. Like, I'm sorry, aliens got a lot less cool finding out they're flying around our airspace like this. It's just disappointing. Like, yeah, it's incomprehensible to the human mind, but let's just like mid. You know what? Maybe they came to Earth looking for some designers. I don't know. Give humans whatever technology this is. I'm pretty sure we could make it look sexier than this. Like, why would I prefer an actual flying saucer? Like a typical flying saucer. This is just this mid. I'm so disappointed in the aliens. Like, Hollywood has better designs than actual extraterrestrials. That's crazy.
On the afternoon of March 4th, 2000, a 40-year-old woman named Ines Ramirez stood in the kitchen of her tiny one-room home, which was deep in the mountains of Oaxaca, Mexico. Ines had a whole chicken on the counter right in front of her that she had just killed and plucked, and now she was using a for dinner. And as she did this, she suddenly felt this really intense, very painful cramping sensation that was kind of ripping through her abdomen.
Wow.
And it hurt so bad that Ines stopped what she was doing and kind of doubled over and grabbed the counter and just tried to steady her breathing. I mean, this was really shocking. But at the same time, Ines was used to dealing with basically all medical crises on her own. They lived in this isolated part of the world, and the nearest medical clinic was 50 miles away.
Damn.
And they didn't have a car. So, like anything that happened, they basically had to deal with it themselves, and that was routine. And so pretty quickly, she just kind of forgot about it and went back to butchering the chicken. But several hours later, this is after midnight now, the pain came right back. Her husband is still off in the mountains hunting for deer, so she is alone. She just has this little flickering candle nearby. That's the only light she's got, and she just isolated, dealing with this excruciating pain. But the one thought that kept going through her mind was she had to do something, or whatever this was. It felt like it was going to kill her. And so Ines felt like she really only had one option here, and it was a horrible, horrible option. But she knew she had to do it. She hobbled into the kitchen, and she grabbed that 6-inch knife she had used earlier, and then she walked right back over to the bench near that candle that she'd been sitting on earlier. And once she was there, she reached down and she pulled up her shirt, and then she took the knife and she began slowly dragging this all the way to her belly button, and she takes her hand and she reaches. She's fishing around. Every little move is like lightning striking her body, but she eventually finds what she's looking for and she pulls it out. And what she's looking at is her 8th child, a baby boy. And she had enough wherewithal to take that knife and place the baby down before she passed out. After Ines lost consciousness, one of her kids left the house and just started running to go find the nearest person to get some help. And miraculously, when those first responders got to the home where Ines was hours later, they found her and her newborn son alive. And they were taken to the closest hospital for emergency treatment, and they would both make full recoveries. Today, Ines Ramirez is the only woman ever who has performed a successful C-section on herself.
Warfare weaponry. So when I was talking to this Navy commander, he was like, man, there are cognitive warfare weapons that deploy technologies and it creates a confusion field. And you walk into it and you're totally like disoriented. You don't know where you are, you can't think straight. He was like, imagine one that is a time warper, where either time seems to start moving extremely slowly or extremely quickly. What? This is like 4 months ago. He's like, those types of weapons exist.
How does that happen?
There's a device called an LRAD, a long-range acoustic device. Private entities can purchase them, and it shoots like a beam of sound, right? They use it for crowd control. During like the whole piracy scare, like the Captain Phillips era, those private vessels, they don't want to take lethal force. So they started outfitting those with LRADs. Let's say a boat, you're about to be hijacked, right? And you have these LRADs. They look like satellite dishes almost. And you point it at this boat, you can create a beam of sound that can make it intolerable, where it will turn the vessel around. And there's no defense from it. But there's also frequencies that you can take the same principles that the guy Jose Delgado was experimenting with back in like the 60s, where it's mood altering.
You guys did this?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like, we wanted to see if we could technologically simulate telepathy and make someone believe that they were experiencing telepathy. So we did this whole setup, but you could see someone's whole worldview change, right?
Yeah.
Like someone's sitting there and their whole face, they're like, I hear a voice in my head, you know, like.
Oh, it's so scary.
But if you think
Yeah,
about like
it is.
what's available to governments,
That's scary.
that is very scary.
I don't like that.
Yeah, man, like I said, chat, the technology that the military and the government has is just like insane. Like we could just blast beams at you and you just, you know what I'm saying? You're just fried. Like you can't, there's no defense against it.
Explaining the cave iceberg. First up, we got the missing 411 theory. This is just an online conspiracy theory that suggests that there are very eerie connections between the hundreds of missing persons cases and wilderness areas / national parks that have cave systems. So people like to claim that maybe there is some sort of feral people that live in these caves or cryptids that live down there that go and get people, but it's just kind of a spooky thing people like to talk about. Moving on to Forbidden Cave. This is referring to the Lascaux Cave in France, which is often referred to as one of the most forbidden places in the world. It was discovered in 1940 by these kids that were just trying to find their dog, and they accidentally just stumbled into this cave, where they found some of the most amazing Paleolithic cave paintings anywhere in the world that date back to like 17,000 years ago. This cave was closed to the public in 1963 after carbon dioxide and fungus from visitors started to damage the artwork. Moville Cave. So this was discovered in Romania in 1986 on accident. It's often described as the closest thing on Earth to an alien world because it has been completely sealed off from the outside world for an estimated 5 million years, where dozens of different animal species have evolved separate from anything else on Earth. What's crazy is life down here is sustained by only toxic chemicals in the air and water, not by photosynthesis. And the environment is so harsh that it is studied by NASA as a model for potential subterranean life on other planets. Cave of the Crystals. So this was discovered by chance in Mexico in 2000 while they were mine drilling. It's almost 1,000 feet beneath Earth's surface and contains giant gypsum crystal beams that are up to 37 feet long, which is massive. These crystals are made up of material that is so soft you can actually scratch it with your fingernail, and I mean it just looks like a really alien place too. Deadliest Cave, Diver Cemetery. So this is the Red Sea Blue.
I'm always talking about how dirty and nasty space is, but one thing that we haven't discussed is what it smells like on the other planets. Spoiler alert, most of them stink. Starting off with Mercury, the dead planet, it shockingly does not smell like a rotting corpse. Mercury actually has no odor because it has no atmosphere, so there's no gases or anything trapped in the planet. So, good for you, Mercury. Next is stinking ass Venus, and because it has a whole bunch of thick sulfuric acid clouds, the whole planet smells like rotten eggs. Just intense, hot, rotten eggs. Mars also has a lot of sulfur, so this planet also smells like rotten eggs. There's also a metallic, oxidized smell floating around the planet. So imagine a nosebleed, rotten eggs and blood.
Yeah.
That's what the whole planet smells like. Don't go to Mars. Then you have this beast of a planet, Jupiter. Jupiter always has to take it a step further. Jupiter has layers of odors within its atmosphere. So like depending on which layer of gas you're in, that determines what you're going to smell. The outside layers smell like ammonia and pee. So we're starting off bad already. The next layer smells like ammonia and rotten eggs. I don't know why all these planets smell like rotten eggs, but that's just what they smell like. The deeper layers smell like bitter almonds. I've never smelled a bitter almond, but it's Jupiter, so it can't smell that good. Saturn smells like ammonia, pee, and fish. Now, you're probably expecting Uranus to smell like open buttholes, but it doesn't. The planet is mostly odorless. The planet's deeper layers do have traces of ammonia, carbon dioxide, hydrogen sulfide, and methane, so it may smell like rotten eggs down there, but for the most part, Uranus has no smell. Neptune has a pungent, rotten egg odor. The last and the least is the barely relevant planet Pluto, which has no smell because it hardly has an atmosphere and it's frozen, so it's hard to stink in the cold.
That was quite interesting. I mean, to be fair, we wouldn't be able to smell anything on those planets because we can't even breathe on those planets. But if we could, I think the sulfur is the reason why it smells like a rotten egg a lot, because sulfur as the mineral has like a really foul smell to it. Nick Cannon is literally wilding out.
What? What? What is Nick Cannon doing here, bro? Because we all know what this is about. Shh! Shut up! You gotta be kidding me, guys. You gotta be kidding me, guys. He posted this on FB. I knew it, Nick Cannon. I knew it. Who the hell you think you are right here, dogs? Ah! Who do you think you are right here in this picture? You're definitely wilding out, bro. You're wilding out with that picture, and I don't know why would you post that. You know what people think about that. Who the... Bro, this picture's getting me tight, straight up, B. Saved by who? You ain't saved by the Most High. Shh, shut up! You probably saved by the Bell. B-A-A-L. Why? Why, Nick Cannon? You know what people think about this. You know what's going on with this. Homie been wilding out for a minute now. Now he officially wilded out. This is wild, guys. This is wild. Guess what? This video is for entertainment purposes only, and obviously that was just like an AI picture he put together. Nothing to worry about, guys. Come on. I don't know, guys. Let me know what you think about this one. I'm out.
Epstein's financial advisor owned a company called Lifetouch, and they were responsible for photographing 25 million K-12 students annually in America. And they had access to your home address because they needed somewhere to send the photos. And they also know where you go to school. And they've got your cute little baby face. There is nothing private anymore. What else do you want security of? You want to know that no one knows where the hell you live. I would hope. I'm not the only one feeling that way. This is my driver, and that's another win for the Amish, because I think homeschooling is the answer at this point.
Stay with me, this is important. So most of us have been aware of this, but has anyone noticed this? Euphrates River is drying faster than ever and will dry up completely by 2037. This is multiple sources, it's not just this. And guys, this is biblical. Underneath this river are 4 angels according to Revelation, and at any moment they can be released and they will unalive 1/3 of the planet. This is a prophecy that is taking place right now. The Euphrates River is mentioned several times in the Bible. It's a big deal. According to Revelation 16, it says that the Euphrates River will be dried up to prepare the way for the kings of the east. It's all towards the greater end plan. Here's another picture of the before and after. Quite obvious, but perhaps the most surprising part is the river itself resembles the Omega symbol. And Omega means that Jesus is the beginning and the end. We don't know when Jesus will return. We don't know the day. Only the Father knows. But he did give us signs.
The pythons are eating the alligators. True story, bro. Florida has a predator problem that most people in normal places wouldn't expect. Burmese pythons. It's an invasive snake species from Southeast Asia. And they've exploded all over the Everglades. Basically, a lot of people in Florida, for some reason, want exotic pets, and then they can't take care of said exotic pets, and then the exotic pets escape into the wild, and then start breeding. And then you have a ton of iguanas, or you have a ton of pythons. And since these pythons are in the wild, they're no longer just eating small little rodents. These snakes are going 15 to 18 feet long and weighing well over 100 pounds. And their super powerful constrictors mean they like to suck the life out of the animals they catch. They're eating raccoons, rabbits, foxes, and even freaking bobcats, bro. The snakes are eating the bobcats. And they're reducing these populations in some cases as much as 90%. But what's really been grabbing the headlines recently is that the pythons are hunting and eating American freaking alligators, bro. The top of the food chain in the Everglades. The snakes are taking them out. So now the concern isn't just that there's freaking Burmese pythons all over the Everglades. It's also that they're destroying the freaking ecosystem. And now there's a huge imbalance. Precious. 'Cause.
Was this the most dangerous ride at Universal? 'Cause this is crazy. 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 'Cause this is crazy.
You know that this was the most dangerous ride ever built at Universal? Welcome back to Universal Unlocked, where we dust off the archives and explore the history and nostalgia of the world's greatest movie park. Dueling Dragons opened back in 1999, and at that time, this ride was a mechanical masterpiece. It basically featured 2 separate tracks, fire and ice, that would essentially duel each other. And at 3 separate points throughout this ride, the coasters would fly within 12 inches of each other, as seen here. And this would of course give riders the terrifying illusion of a mid-air collision. The whole structure of this ride was pretty similar to the Stardust racers that we see today over at Epic Universe. And this ride was iconic. If you went to Universal back in the day, Dueling Dragons was most likely at the top of your list. Dueling Dragons was so iconic, in fact, that it actually became a Hollywood star. If you grew up in the 90s or even the early 2000s, then you are probably familiar with the iconic Bring It On, In It to Win It movie. And the cheerleaders in this movie actually use Dueling Dragons for the inspiration behind one of their stunts that they perform, where they basically get really close to hitting each other midair and then they land safely. Even though the roller coaster provided a pretty awesome inspiration for the stunts in this movie, the famous dueling aspect is what ultimately led to its downfall. So in 2011, after a series of some pretty serious injuries of loose articles flying off of one train and hitting the other riders, Universal made the very heartbreaking decision to stop running Dueling Dragons forever. After this incident, the trains were staggered so that they would never meet. This basically completely removed the battle aspect that made it so popular and famous and turned it into 2 separate lonely coasters. And in 2017, this ride was permanently closed and demolished, and it made way for what is now Hagrid's Motorbike Adventure. And while Hagrid's is a fan favorite ride for many, the Dueling Dragon coaster remains one of the most iconic rides ever made in Universal history. And all that's left today are the memories of those near misses, those incidents, and a few Easter eggs that are sprinkled throughout the Hagrid's Cube. If you found this interesting, be sure to hit that follow button and let us know down below, did you ride Dueling Dragons back in the day? And if so, are you devastated that it's gone, or are you happy that Hagrid's has replaced it?
Yeah, when I went to Universal like back in January, they had something similar to that. It wasn't exactly that, but it had something similar where you and like another roller coaster were both going at the same time, and then you would see each other and kind of spiral under each other. Pretty cool, pretty cool.
So apparently the lettuce was in the files, and they were talking about how people who use the lettuce are harder to manipulate because they question things more readily than someone who's consuming alcohol, and that's why alcohol is promoted and the lettuce is demonized. I just made a video saying it with the right words, and you could say alcohol all you want on here, no problem, but if I even try to say it.
Yeah, apparently that was actually in the Epstein files about how people that use the tree are harder to manipulate because they question things a lot more. They're more just like, what does he mean by that? Like, you know what I'm saying? They think a little bit too harder compared to like alcohol, where it's just like, whatever, I don't really care. You know what I'm saying? Like alcohol just makes you loose and not really care about what the outcome is of certain situations or what. It makes you question things a lot less, pretty much. Major update for our new trip to the moon. Wow.
It's been over 50 years since our last successful trip to the moon, but the Artemis 2 has some major updates that you're going to want to hear. If you have not been following along, the Artemis 2 came across some major issues which pushed back the launch date because of the fact that it was leaking fuel. During what they call a wet dress rehearsal, which is priming the system with fuel, filling it up completely just to see if it leaks, it passed unbelievably well. As you can imagine, the team is incredibly excited to be able to make this launch because no person has ever been beyond low Earth orbit since December of 1972 during the Apollo 17 mission. The dress rehearsal did not just cover one single thing, but it also ran through multiple major operations that precede the launch, and they all did well, so it looks like it's set for March 6th. And just to put it in perspective, this is crazy, but the tank itself can hold up to 730,000 gallons of liquid oxygen, which it uses to propel itself into the atmosphere. This roughly 10-day trip is about to break history books, and these 4 astronauts are about to go on an incredible adventure that they will never forget, along with the rest of the world. I keep you guys updated about everything that happens in the news, especially when it's something this interesting, so be sure to add me and come back tomorrow.
That one's definitely going to be interesting.
Fortnite account linked to his name.
Yeah, that was when Fortnite just started, right?
Yeah, so what was crazy about this theory is that the name of the Fortnite account was Little Jeff. What's crazy about that is that was the name that was linked to the government emails. Certain emails were named Little Jeff.
I think he got away with all of this because he knew in the end, even if they did catch him and all this became
went in the public,
yeah,
he would still be safe. So I think he didn't care how reckless he was. The emails with the names matching up.
Fortnite actually debunked it, trying to say there was no emails connected to this account. Whatever. The question of is he alive is a very real question regarding the conspiracy theorists and stuff.
Underwater escape. On June 16th, 2019, magician Chanchal Lahiri stood on the banks of the Hooghly River in Kolkata, India. He was 40 years old, known professionally as Jadagar Mandrake. He specialized in escape acts, Houdini-style stunts. That day, he was attempting an underwater escape. Lahiri was shackled with 6 locks and chains. A steel cage was locked around him. He was blindfolded. Hundreds of spectators gathered near the Howrah Bridge. They'd come to watch him escape. Cameras were ready. Police were present. It was a public spectacle. A crane lifted Lahiri in his cage, moved him over the river. The crowd watched as he dangled above the water. Then the crane lowered him, down into the Hooghly River. The water was murky, fast-moving, deep. In a few minutes, Lahiri disappeared beneath the surface. The plan was simple. He'd pick the locks underwater, break free from the chains, escape the cage and swim to the surface. But then, the unexpected happened. The crowd waited, but Lahiri didn't surface. That was when they knew something had gone wrong. People started getting nervous. Divers went into the river, searched the murky water. The current was strong. Visibility was near zero. Still, they couldn't find him. Hours later, police continued searching downstream. The next day, Lahiri's body was found about a kilometer away. He drowned, never escaped the cage, never picked the locks, just sank to the bottom and died. He'd gone into that river believing he could escape, but he couldn't, and nobody could save him in time.
If this virus escapes Asia, the world's going to be shut down again. There's a deadly virus spreading called the Nipah virus. This virus is so deadly it kills about 50% of the people it actually infects. If you get the virus, it starts off like normal with coughs, headaches, fever, but then it gets so much worse. It can spread to your lungs and then to your brain, causing serious neurological issues. But the worst part of this is that there's no treatment or no cure yet. But the crazy thing about all this is this virus is not new. The Nipah virus started in 1998 when a bunch of these fruit bats started infecting these pigs, which then infected humans. They actually stopped that outbreak by destroying millions of pigs, which actually contained the virus. Supposedly it's being contained and there's nothing that we need to worry about in the United States. But didn't they say that last time, bro?
I don't usually come across a story that genuinely scares me, but this one does, because it involves a woman who disappears in the remote wilderness, and she is presumed dead. But over the next year, multiple people have claimed to see her, or possibly her ghost, in the area where she went missing. And each time they see her, she looks distorted and in a worse condition. This is the mysterious disappearance of Sandra Hughes, and I promise you it will freak you out. So let's talk about it. Sandra Hughes was a 54-year-old woman who loved the outdoors, so when the pandemic first started, she took the opportunity to solo travel and spend a lot of time in the wilderness by herself. Sandra last spoke with her family on June 26, 2020, and this is when she told them that she was going to camp alone in the Sierra National Forest. She was really excited as she'd spent the last 6 months in California, often camping alone and gaining a lot of experience in the outdoors. She was actually known to be an outdoor expert and a survivalist, so when she told her family about her upcoming solo camping trip in the Sierra National Forest, they weren't too worried. So off Sandra went, but it wasn't long into the trip that things started to go wrong, and no one could have expected what was about to happen to her or other campers in the area for years to come. On July 1st, 2020, a couple of campers were hiking near Johnson Meadows just above Bass Lake in the Sierra National Forest when they stumbled across an abandoned campsite. It was a really eerie scene because it looked like the campsite had been completely destroyed, and a bunch of things were kind of just strewn around. The campers then found a folder that contained some important documents, like a birth certificate and a social security card. With the campsite being destroyed like this, the campers felt like something was really wrong. So they called police to report this, and when authorities arrived, they found that the campsite and documents belonged to Sandra Hughes. At this point in time, Sandra wasn't a missing person, but they did find it odd that all of her personal belongings were just abandoned like that. So they started to look for her to see if she was okay. Nothing immediate was found, but then 3 days later, Sandra was spotted. And this is when the story starts to get strange. So on July 4th, Sandra ended up crashing her car near the Chiquito Pass trailhead in Madera County. This wasn't far from her abandoned campsite, and it didn't appear that the crash was that bad. Other campers were around when it happened, and according to them, Sandra somehow collided with a tree, and her car ended up high-centered on a stump in a ravine. Based on witnesses and the damage to her car, Sandra wasn't going very fast at the time of the crash. Since other campers were around, they offered to help her, but Sandra refused, saying she was okay. She was then seen walking into the woods alone, and what happened after this has never been explained. It was at this point that Sandra was officially reported missing, and authorities became more concerned after her car crash. A massive search was launched for Sandra, and over the next few days, she was seen 2 more times by separate campers. They each said that she was barefoot and had a bruise on her face. At the time, the campers didn't know that she was a missing person, but they did try to ask if she was okay or if she needed help because she looked a little distressed. According to them, Sandra seemed like she wasn't there, and she ignored anyone that tried to talk to her, continuing to walk deeper into the woods alone.
Do you guys remember the viral video of the teenagers finding dead bodies in a suitcase while using a manifestation app? I was just thinking about this yesterday, and I realized that probably a majority of the people that saw that video don't know the victim stories or what happened afterwards. It was the summer of 2020. We were already months into lockdown, and TikTok just started to really blow up. And at the time, so was another app called Randonautica. I personally never downloaded this app, but from what I can tell, it's sort of like geocaching, like a scavenger hunt using coordinates. But with this app, Randonautica, you would manifest whatever you were looking for, and then the app would tell you where to go, and then you would find what you were manifesting to find. Videos at the time of people using the Randonautica app were going super viral. People were saying that they were manifesting to find money, and then the app would take them somewhere and they would find $20 on the ground. Or people would say in their videos that they were manifesting to find confidence, and then the app would take them to a bathroom mirror that had "You are beautiful" on it. It was that kind of thing. With some of the most viral videos showing people manifesting to find something paranormal, supernatural, or just creepy. How many of those videos were staged for views? I have no clue, but like at the time, just a lot of like scary, creepy Randonautica videos were going like super mega viral at the time. And then on June 19th, 2020, a group of teenagers from Seattle, Washington were using the Randonautica app to make their own video. They were allegedly manifesting finding money, and the app took them down by the water near Pike Place Market. And down by the water on the rocks, they found a suitcase. The group of teenagers are filming the entire thing for their TikTok video, and they're super excited that they actually found something. They were manifesting money, so they thought that maybe the suitcase was filled with cash or treasure, but as they got closer to the suitcase, they were hit with this terrible smell. One of the girls is using a stick to open up the suitcase, and inside the suitcase, there's a bunch of trash bags that are clearly filled with something, and there's just this terrible smell, and the teenagers are really starting to freak out, and they call 911. And when this video was posted, it went super viral. I saw it, I'm sure you saw it, and there was a lot of speculation that maybe this was just another staged, hoaxed Randonautica video, just hoping to get views, but that was sadly not the case. Inside of the suitcase and the surrounding area, they found 2 bodies, and those were the bodies of boyfriend and girlfriend 35-year-old Jessica Lewis and 27-year-old Austin Wenner, who was more better known as the nickname Cash or Cash Money.
Wow, that's crazy, chat. Yeah, man, I'm actually gonna make a video randonauting and exploring creepy locations, so hopefully I don't find that, but we'll see.
So billionaire Leslie Wexner just spilled the tea on the Rothschilds, on Jeff Bezos, and on Google in relation to Jeffrey Epstein. His lawyer then steps in and whispers, "I will unalive you unless you keep your answers under 5 words."
I do personal work for the Rothschild family and friends. Well, specifically, I talked to Ellie de Rothschild, since I mentioned that earlier. So he represented their whole families, and a whole bunch of people. Most of them I never would have met, but he knew LA. He would say, like, I'm providing financial advice to the founders of Google. I'm providing financial advice to Jeff Bezos. Answer the question. Okay.
Yeah, man, I've literally seen that video, and I was looking at it, I was like, damn, that's crazy. He said it literally publicly like that. It could come through the mic and everything. Obviously the dude laughed it off to make it seem like a joke, but I don't know if he even suffered consequences for saying that, because saying that to someone just like that is absolutely insane, dude.
Thank you all for watching this here video. Please like and subscribe.